Hi, I'm Chris Dyson with Dyson Racing, and I'm here to show you around my BP Mazda-Lola today. Just taking a look at the car. It's a state-of-the-art technology, and it's basically, as you can see, it's a coupe. It's a closed-top car, which means that the front-end treatment is basically, and all of the aero is essentially built around the closed concept. The front end, you can see, utilizes built-in splitter there that effectively creates an underwing effect in the front end. And you can see the numerous dive planes. As we take a walk around, we look under the skin a little bit, and this beautiful carbon fiber bodywork. You can see here, this is the suspension. It's a conventional coil-over spring over the shock. We've got Penske shocks on here, and you can see the front roll bar here is obviously disconnected right now for setup purposes, but will be connected when we're running. You can see there's numerous wiring outlets up here, all try to be as close as possible. And you can see the pitot tube here, which will give you your absolute speed, regardless of wind speed. And also keeps the wheel speed sensors from getting in the way. We can see some of the detail in the nose section. You can see how the nose, as it goes up, as the air goes over the headlight and starts to go over the fender. We've got louvers here. These are called male louvers as they stick out. Basically, what this does is it helps not only create downward pressure on the front end, but it also helps to evacuate air from underneath the fender and also to help evacuate some of the heat from the braking. As you walk around here, you can see these beautiful BBS rims and carbon rotors with AP calipers with carbon discs rather, and the stopping power is pretty incredible in these cars. You can see the side pods, they're not just for sponsors' logos, they're also incredibly functional. Very, very lightweight carbon Kevlar material. And you can see again some of the aero treatment here. You can see how the air, as it comes up over the nose and starts to route around the cockpit. You can see the radiator is actually inside here, and all the duct work goes on up there, but I can't show you that because that's a little too secretive. We don't have the tail section on right now because we thought it would be interesting to show you the Mazda MZ-RR engine, which if you come around here, you can get a look at it. You can see here, this is probably the most potent engine in the LMP2 category today. This is the Mazda MZ-RR engine. It's a 2-liter single turbo engine producing well in excess of 500 horsepower, and it is an absolute rocket ship. It's got the latest in material design, a lot of Formula One derived technology based on the basic platform of engines that you'll see in Mazdas on the road, but this one's built strictly for the American Le Mans Series platform. The engine is hugely powerful, a lot of electronic controls and a lot of interesting management techniques on the turbo and wastegate controls. That's to keep the power going to the rear wheels and keeping the traction, which is absolutely critical. But you can see here the engine design is just immaculate. And from an installation standpoint, it's one of the lightest engines in the field, so that gives us a little bit more freedom concerning setup than you would with a heavier engine. So it's definitely pushing all the boundaries of technology these days, and I'm delighted to have it sitting behind us. It looks about the size of the briefcase, but it goes like a rocket ship. If you look around here, you can see this is where the tail section starts to finish, and there's a bolt-on rear end here. This is a single piece rear end, which makes it much easier to remove the tail section. And if you have to do any massive changes during the race, the tail section comes off as one piece. A couple of bolts, boom, boom, quick release, and it's off. You can see here, it's a dual element wing, again, carbon fiber. This is a very critical part of the car for creating downforce on the rear. And basically, again, this is at maximum angle of attack because we're at St. Petersburg. Here we are on the inside of the Mazda-Lola LMP2 car, and you can see here we're inside of a closed cockpit. It's surprisingly spacious for a car that looks from the outside to be very, very sleek and svelte. I'd say that that's a credit to Lola for designing a car that can fit someone who's 6'2" like me in here. But you can see here there's some tremendous technology that goes into these cars. Basically, I'm gonna actually fire up the master switch, and you can see here this fires up a lot of the systems that run the car. But one of the most important instruments as a driver is the dash display. And you can see here I've got a huge amount of information at my disposal. Engine temp, everything from engine temperatures to oil temperatures to tire pressures, which from a driver management tool is huge from both the safety and performance perspective. You can see here basically there's a huge amount of computing power in the steering wheel. We've got a traction control adjustment. We've got a push to talk button here. I've got a flash here for my lights for the high beams if I feel like we need to come through quickly. And we've got an alarm reset button here for any time that there's any parameters that have been breached. There's an alarm that comes up here for us, and it informs people back in the pits as well. I'm going to remove the steering wheel just to show you, but basically you can see here we've got a paddle shift system. It's a fully semi-automatic gearbox, 6 speeds, and basically at the push of a button, that's the extent of my upshift. So there's nothing on the floor here. A huge amount of R&D went into this system, and you know, in terms of the latest technology, you know, the Mazda is absolutely pushing all the boundaries. I've got my brake balance adjustment right in here, so I can actually move more brake pressure to the front or rear depending on grip conditions and the state of the tires. And you know, if you look across the dash here, I've got a few more bits and pieces here. Starter button here, ignition, couple switches here for maps and stuff like that. I've got my electronic mirror control, because you need that in a sports car when you're sharing with others who might be slightly different size, and a few other switches here. You can also see here that there's a duct here, and this isn't just for fresh air. This is actually for a mandated air conditioning unit, and basically there's a maximum temperature that we're not to exceed in this car, and I'm thankful for the series for installing that, because it keeps it cool in my Mazda here. And basically what this comes on and keeps the cockpit as cool as it would be if you were in an open top car, which is actually quite remarkable when you think about it. I've got my radio here, which plugs in up there, and I've got a drink bottle down here as well, which isn't installed, but I have a tube that runs up here and makes sure that we can stay hydrated during those long double stints. And you can see here, there's obviously, once I'm in the car and that I understand what's going on, there's a 5-point harness. So I don't have it on, but I'll have a Hans device on and a helmet, and everything will be fastened in. And the 5-point harness keeps me secure and safe in here. And I'm sitting on top of a seat that's basically a foam, basically a bead molded seat that actually I sit in, and they pour like a sort of a bag full of beads that they put a resin in, and once that activates, it actually molds right around my body. So you're really safely secure in here, and safety is the most important thing in motor racing, other than going quickly, of course. But you know, we here don't take any chances in our safety, and it's a huge part of it. And it's a huge part of our of what we do as drivers, as risk managers, essentially, and. Yes, so that's inside the office here today. I don't know if there's much more I can tell you or that I'm allowed to tell you, but I hope it's been really helpful for all the fans at home.